Why? Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dictatorship, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, as Mexico. Now, last time we were here together, well, we started working a little bit more on figuring out what the legacy will be. We sent in our healthcare services to try to improve the healthcare and the poverty in our nation, and it's done pretty well. Next up, we'll be working on really some diplomatic stuff, it looks like. And we'll be taking it all from there. But we do have a little bit of an issue. We have the Grupo Popular Guerrilla... I don't know how to say that in Spanish. Popular Guerrilla Group. Stalled and formed and abusive caciques have long caused rural unrest in Mexico's largest state, but matters have recently worsened. Former teacher Arturo Jamiz has organized disaffected educators, students, and peasants into Guevara's insurgency, the GPG. These Marxist terrorists now launch attacks against landowners, government officials, and members of the PRI across southwestern Chihuahua. Direly needed investment and attention drains away from the state's cities and mines as soldiers pour into its burning fields. Governor Mercedes Giner Duran is preparing to lead an invasion and discreet campaign against these guerrillas. As a veteran of the Mexican Revolution, the governor surely possesses the military skill to bring this attempted one to a quick and definitive end. I think so. I'm sure nothing bad at all will end up happening from that. Nothing at all, no. Let me get my timer going. Do 28 minutes. Brazil's 100 days, uh-oh. Free civilian factories, let's get... We're still suffering hospital-wise. Something going in Jalisco. Probably Chihuahua as well. That way those guerrillas can go to the hospital after we shoot them. We're not monsters. Losing effects of military austerity now. How's that affecting our economy? We got a deficit, but it's not a horrible one. There we go, yeah. As long as our GDP keeps growing, we'll be okay. Distinguished colleagues, Mateos began as he stared out at the rows and rows of party delegates. World tensions have never been higher than they are today. The Japanese and Americans have only recently come within inches of disaster, saved only by cooler heads prevailing over the warmongers. The Mediterranean is brimming with resentment and envy just waiting to explode. Who knows what other disasters might fall across the world in the coming decades. For the last few decades, Mexico has followed a clear international doctrine, the Estrada Doctrine. Today I reaffirm our commitment to these ideals. The world is a complex, ever-changing landscape, and it's not our right to intervene in other nations' domestic policies simply because we disagree with them. Unless it's Dominican Republic. Self-determination is a cornerstone of the peaceful world order, and I will continue to support this policy throughout the Americas and beyond. In addition, I will bring these ideals of self-determination and non-intervention with me wherever I go. If other nations follow suit, then one day we may wake up to a world less ravaged by the disease of war. Fernand Mateos indicated to those gathered that his speech was concluded, and the applause began. As they clapped, Mateos made his way off stage, joined by Ordaz. Planning any more tours abroad that I should know about, Your Excellency? Ordaz asked as they made their way out. Oh no, not particularly. Mateos gave him a brief smile. I'm just hoping that this speech will smooth over any wrinkles we have with our partners. We're going to need them in the years ahead. The Americans have their doctrine, and we have ours. Alright, so we have a choice between with major friends or with the forgotten heroes. And I'm gonna check real quick. Yep. Our last bit of campaigning. I'll do this, and in 6 days I'll get this going. Let's go in with the forgotten heroes. Perception or construction. We'll get both increased soon enough. Let's go with the forgotten heroes. That GDP boost will be nice. And political power too. There's one lesson to remember from the diplomatic disarray of the evolution crisis. It's that the superpowers view Mexico as only another pawn in their games. Alone, our independence will always be at risk from their malign influences. But we do not and will not stand alone. Cuba and Venezuela valiantly engage in ceaseless hidden struggles to defend their revolutions and the right of their peoples to control their own destiny. While clashes between nuclear powers garner national attention, these nations, our peers, are the forgotten heroes of the Cold War. We'll call forth the Veracruz Forum and Mexico's legion of talented artists to give them the belated recognition they deserve, and united ensure that our collective independence is stronger than ever. A Norteño song strang from the gas station's radio as local policeman Mateo Perez sidled up to the pale blue Chevy pickup. The truck had apparently been sitting here for 2 days, and the annoyed owner of the place, wanted it gone. Probably belongs to another gringo tourist drunk off his ass in one of Ojinaga's bars. Though Perez happened often enough in the border town. He appeared in the cab, looking for anything that might help find the guy. Nothing. He peeled back the tarp covering the bed, and found it full of hundreds of bags of yellow white opium. About 10 minutes later, he was on the phone with the federal judicial police. About 2 hours later, the PGF were at the truck, snapping photos of the haul and pumping the gas station employees for info. About 5 hours later, they burst into the bar El Dorado and handcuffed convicted small-time smuggler Ernesto El Grillo Ibanez. The truck's keys were in his pocket, and he was indeed drunk off his ass. Busted. Not a gringo, though. Alright, so we can get this going soon. I'll do this and this. Peugeot, interesting. PGF Commander Sebastian Martinez surveyed the grey room, trying to ignore the delicious smell of carne asada filling the air. On the other side of the heavy wooden door sat El Grillo, a pathetic whelp of a smuggler who had just been captured with enough opium to slow all of Dallas to a crawl. What would make the career of an ambitious commander of a federal police? All depended on how you looked at it. The key to the latter would be getting the prisoners to squeal in the whole damn operation. Put the big fish and all the lieutenants behind bars for years and years. And he had just the man to do it. Roberto Velasquez sat back at a 90-degree angle and shoulders squared, focused squarely on the commander's next move. She's going to do a lot of projects, look at that. His face was a mix of wrinkles and scars, and his hair had long ago gone gray. He had killed before Cristeros, and his eyes told that he could again. Jose Marie's young face, by contrast, was covered with his lunch. He dabbed his face lightly with a napkin, then resumed his attack on the beef. His easy smile and rotund features said he was someone to trust, to confide in, but every jab of the fork moved with absolute precision. Commander Martinez rested his hand on the door's handle. He was short on time. The governor wanted to break the news on the bus soon. If he didn't have the bigwigs in hand by then, they'd go to ground for sure. Because he needed El Grillo to talk fast and eagerly, he said, I'll save just in case. Jose, see if you can come to an arrangement. Alright, time to do some proyectos. It's my favorite pot. So it's northwest, northeast, and west. Alright. Proyecto. Do a dam. An arena. We could do this dam. Let's do this dam. The farmers of the Yaqui River Valley in Sonora provide a vital good to Mexico's rapidly growing population in the form of wheat. True production doesn't fall behind. The Plutarco Elias Calles Dam should be built on the river, bolstering the lifeblood of farmers, the irrigation network, and providing electricity to locals. The northeast. I finished a dam there. Could do another dam. We need Lozano. You do Pemex expansion. I actually do quite well with yeah. Alright, Pemex, our state-owned firm, is among Cardenas' most valuable legacies for our nation, but we cannot rest on his laurels. Pemex must be expanded. Strategic investment in production and refining capacity will increase output for national export and our growing domestic consumption. And then we got here, we got that done. Do a new. Do an international airport. A new electricity plant will be good. Humble peasant woman mending garments at dusk in the mice, captains of industry planning a new factory. Mexico needs electricity. We'll meet that need by constructing the next generation of power facilities, each one a monument to the advancement of our nation. There we go. Just those who have leave, and soon that will refresh. There we go. Soon-to-be President Madrazo struggled to keep his tone neutral. Charisma was normally his greatest asset, but this was a special case. Gustavo Díaz-Ordaz had fallen very far, very fast, and was feeling lost. Showing too much excitement around him would be insensitive. Tell me, Gustavo, what are you planning to do after the election? Thinking of an early retirement, or would you like to stay in government? Ordaz's eyes widened. I would like to continue serving in whatever position the future president would have me, he said expectantly. I'd hoped you said that, Madrazo replied with a smile. I will need a new ambassador in the United States, and I believe you're the best man for the job. What? I don't have much experience with diplomacy. Don't be so modest, Gustavo. Nobody understands the Yankees better than you. I have the utmost confidence in your abilities. Ordaz sat back down, his hope fading into sullen resignation. Very well, Carlos. I will gladly accept the post in Washington. To the American people, we send the spider. Don't send him to us. Alright, so we're doing pretty well. We'll get the campaign back running soon enough. Might need to protect it a little bit more. Let's do Ryuprad. However much we passively promote it, in making cordial friendships over the nations, peace is something you must truly work for. Relationships are just one key piece of the grand puzzle, and it's about time that we move boldly forward and put them to use by trying to tackle one of the most insidious evils of the century. nuclear weapons. The Reunión Preliminar sobre la Desnuclearización de la América Latina, or REUPRAL, is a plan to bring together emissaries and diplomats from the nations of Latin America so we can hopefully come together and begin discussions that hopefully will lead to a formal treaty banning Latin American nations from having nuclear weapons. It's a promising initiative. Already we've heard from Brazil, Bolivia, Ecuador, and Chile that they're interested in attending. And while it's hardly going to end the Cold War, a stance of unity pursuing peace is exactly what we aim to project. The treaty awaits. Well, there we go. Production units. Let's get more civilian factories. Failure. Precious hours slipped away as a subordinate failed to learn anything from his useless smuggler. Commander Martinez had already fielded 3 calls from higher-ups in the federal judicial police, wanting to know what they'd found from the interrogation. On the next one, they'd be asking for his resignation. Fine. He'd do this himself. Martinez slammed the door behind him and stood staring at the smuggler for a moment. They called him a griot, but he had the face of a rat. You think you can drive across the border and pick up with barely covered bags of opium? What makes you think I want to cross the border? It's for personal consumption, replied El Griot, laying a much-injected arm upon the table. His green grin revealed sharp yellow teeth. Then you personally going to rot in the darkest, most putrid hole I can find, said Martinez, flicking the lights off. All went black. A moment passed in silence, then another. The commander lit a cigarette, a single pinprick of respite. Or we keep this a business matter. It's your boss I'm after, his boss, and the boss of the whole damn operation. Enough fuel cells, and we won't have room for a small fry like you. The tiny frame illuminated the outline of the criminal's face, but not his sunken eyes. El Grillo laughed, a full, real laugh springing from ear to ear, echoing across the tight room. Pounding Martinez's ears, the criminal leaned across the table, restraints creaking against a wooden chair, and whispered, You think you can take them? You won't even be able to put anything on me. I might. Let's roll back the clock. First I'll have to check the decisions real quick. Alright, Roberto pried at him. Fuck him up. Alright, what do we do here again? We did this dam. We did Pemex expansion. And we did an electricity plant. Right. Decisions. Oh, yeah, we got all this done. There we go. Forgotten heroes. Let me check. Okay, so this does protect it if there is nothing going on. That's good to know. Real pro. Oh, it doesn't matter. Interesting. Good to know. Resistance prevails. Look at that. Get another civilian factory in on the case. PGF Commander Martinez stumbled out of the interrogation room shaken. What kind of petty criminal could pull that? Could pull that on him? One that wasn't a petty criminal at all. One that not just worked for, but truly belonged to an organization. An organization that could make sure he never went to prison. How they brought judges, politicians. Seeing Roberto and Jose Maria's wary stares, Martinez growled. No luck with him. Anything new here? A quick look to the static array of evidence told him probably not. With an expression on the grim visage, Roberto replied, local police are asking town folks if they know anything more, but I wouldn't. The phone's ring cut him off. Probably the higher-ups calling to take him off the even colder case. Honestly, that might be a relief. Martinez jammed the receiver into his ear and barked. Martinez speaking. Martinez, this is Arturo, commander with the Federal Security Directorate. We heard about your case and want to offer you on our leads. The DFS? Martinez's mind raced. Elite, efficient, ruthless. If it was a threat to national security, if it was found out and then stomped out by the DFS, their info would be rock solid. Of course, getting bailed out would be a bad look, but far better than failing alone. Martinez replied, we'll need to clear with headquarters. Understood? I'll come back tomorrow AM. Martinez heard the line click. He gauged the other's reactions. Jose Maria's face was moving from shock to his trademark smile. Bets for cavalry on their way, thought Martinez. Roberto's scarred profile was unchanged to untrained eyes, but the commander saw his skepticism, probably wondering if this was all part of interagency power play. Martinez wasn't sure what to feel yet, but he did know one thing. The DFS always gets what they're after. We'll protect that again as we wait to get more points going. Commander Martinez turned the options over in his mind. Attempts to press on with the case alone likely out with success, or accept the assistance of the DFS. His bosses back at PJF headquarters wouldn't want to share any credit, but they'd likely need the famed directorate skills and info if they wanted to crack whatever shadowy group was moving truckloads of opium over the border. The door to the police station swung open, letting the amicable local officer that had started it all. Martinez looked at the first friendly smile seen for hours and asked, "You have something, Perez?" "Found someone who does. A journalist who writes a paper for Ojinaga and a few other towns around here. Simone's a bit of a kook, but he's got a good ear and knows everyone in the area. When I ran into him at the market, I told him about you folk arresting that smuggler, and he said he knows the syndicates El Grillo is working for. Went to his house beyond the can to get his evidence in order. Said he could meet first thing in the morning if you want." Martinez found himself smiling along. This hack of Perez's might not have the national reach and investigative chops of a DFS, but he'd probably kept closer tabs on the coming and goings of local crooks like El Grillo. He'd have to make the call, but the future of the case was back in his hands. At long last, some options. First, he made his way over to the window to gaze out of the streets of Mexico City. Then he made his way over to the desk to rearrange some files and other assortments that littered the surface. Whatever Mateos did, he couldn't quell the restlessness stirring within him. The Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Manuel Teo Berard, had promised to be here at 10. Mateos' eyes flicked over to the clock hanging on the wall and saw the small hand a hair's breadth away from the large 10. It wasn't exactly right. If even a small part of it didn't work out. "Your Excellency, Berard is here to see you." The voice of his secretary cut through and his thoughts and retched him back into reality. "Send him in." Berard entered, and upon seeing Mateos, smiled wildly and reached out a hand. "Your Excellency, is there something I can do for you?" Mateos returned the warm handshake, his nerves calming somewhat. "Yes, on a few matters. I would like you to begin working on setting up a meeting with as many Latin American nations as you can get on board." "That's small. What's this meeting for, exactly? Trade talks?" Berard's face fell only slightly. "Denuclearization," Mateos answered. "This will be my seminal foreign policy achievement, Berard. I want to denuclearize in Latin America. I'm going to hold a conference to ensure we can keep this continent safe from that sort of Armageddon." Berard did not reply instantly, letting Mateos' words hang in the air for a few moments as he considered the proposal. finally answered. Well, it's bold. We'd probably get a few on board. We'd have to wrangle a few others, but it's daring enough to get their attention at the very least. I'll make a few calls. What will this conference be called? Ryuprod. Well, there we go. We'll do the ISSSTE. Many plans and initiatives, granted as they may be, are truly nothing without the many workers who put in the effort to make them reality. With that in mind, President Lopez Mateos believes strongly that we should do our best to take care of them, a belief which led to the creation of the Instituto de Seguridad y Servicios Sociales de los Trabajadores del Estado, an organization created with that very goal in mind. One of its new initiatives is the construction of brand new housing facilities designed to be rented at manageable control rates in an effort to combat the vicious sprawl of the many urban areas our workers live in, which would likely grow out of control and beyond all reasonability if left untouched. Continued development is key to this plan, with a double whammy of improving our living conditions of the workers and making our cities a better place to live for all. Alright. How long do you have this? 13 days to lock this down. I only have 14 days. Okay. The conference hall was packed with delegates from all over Latin America. The chimes of glasses and plates ringing as they enjoyed the amenities Barat had organized. Mateos looked on as they chatted amongst themselves, trying his best to smile through the disappointment aching in his heart. He could see the empty table to the right of him, just out of the corner of his eye. And the Argentinian delegation should have been sitting. It had been too late to reorganize the venue by the time they'd gotten the word. So now the table stood as a memorial to Mateos' failure. Something on your mind? Mateos heard a voice ask, and we glanced over. We saw Auro de Mora Andrade, the president of Brazil, standing beside him. Is that? Oh, yeah, this is the fucking... That's right, they're doing the paralyzed... They're going with Kubitschek, it seems. Interesting. We all may have agreed to denuclearization, but if this ban doesn't extend to Argentina, I worry about its future. There ought to have been guarantees, but even if we had those, then Colombia would have argued with Ecuador and Venezuela about what those sorts of guarantees would be, and then... Mateos let a sharp breath as a twinge of pain shot its way through his skull. I think you worry too much. You've done a great thing here. We've all agreed on the broad principles of keeping nuclear weapons out of Latin America. Without you, the superpowers would have had free reign to strong-arm any of us into allowing Latin America to become the playground of their weapons of mass destruction. I think that's something to celebrate at the very least. Was that what he thought the whole agreement had meant? Mateos' heart slipped into his stomach. This whole thing had been to truly denuclearize the continent. It was not meant to just keep the superpowers out. Yet when Mateos thought about arguing against the Brazilian, all he could feel was a crescendo of pounding in his skull. I heartily agree, Your Excellency. It's not like you're going to be in power for much longer. Alright, so we have a choice right here. The force of orders in Chihuahua were expecting their own particular brand of chaos. Bluster, spittle, cigarette smoke, and the delicious smell of Jose Maria's elote filled the air as the federal judicial police and the locals continued their fierce debate over who to trust. In between bites, Jose Maria would spout more praise of the DFS. Their professionalism, ingenuity, and dogged ruthlessness had busted several criminal groups and the heads of several would-be extremists. You know, his journalist was with the PJF man was sure he lacked the years of experience, equipment, and sheer talent that allowed them to crack open this mysterious drug smuggling ring. Perez would listen with growing frustration for a few phrases, then unleash a fierce fusilage in defense of a journalist and local honor. Simone was a good man, he argued, and one who knew every inch of the border region. How could the DFS hope to match the contact of someone who lived and worked here for decades? Proto sat stone-faced, occasionally interjecting to oppose whoever was speaking. He was clearly skeptical of both parties, but when questioned about how they were to proceed, without one of them, stammered and fumbled. Commander Martinez watched and smoked from the corner. Let them hash this out, burn off the stress of his blasted case. In truth, he'd already sent his recommendation to headquarters, and when they sent the inevitable approval, they'd get back to work. Well, gonna do... Go ahead and do that. Get the campaign going. And we are going to pick in the next video, because I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. If you liked the video, like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, hit the sub button for uploads weekdays as well as occasionally Saturdays. Any comments or feedback or concerns, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get, and I do appreciate any feedback you might have for me. Check out my various links. Hit the sub button, the notification bell. Keep up to date with these uploads. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye now.